What if a child held the secrets of an extinct civilization? What if he knew with terrifying certainty that Earth was doomed to repeat their mistakes? This is the story of Jin, a boy born with impossible knowledge. A boy who claims to remember a past life on Mars. His warnings began as curious childhood tales, stories of red skies and lost cities beneath the dust. But as he grew older, his predictions grew darker. Artificial intelligence turning against its creators. A dying planet. And now, something watching us from the shadows of deep space. Scientists call him a prodigy. Governments call him a threat. But Jin insists he is neither. He is a messenger, and the message is this: change or be erased. Let us know where you are watching from and what time you found this video. We read every single comment and subscribe for more inspiring content. The kid Jin was not like any other. Despite the fact that he was born in a peaceful hamlet in Siberia, Russia, his parents were aware from the beginning that he was unique. Jin was able to easily elevate his head at the age of barely 2 months, although the majority of newborns required months to accomplish this feat. After 6 months, he was able to walk, and by 8 months, he was able to speak in whole words that were articulate. On the other hand, the most surprising thing happened when he was just 1 year old and he took up a book and started reading out loud in a fluent manner. His parents, who are also astrophysicists, were taken aback by the news. This was a revelation to them, since they had always believed in the wonders of the cosmos. This was very illogical. By the time Jin was 2 years old, he had already enrolled in kindergarten. During his playtime, he managed to surprise his instructors by describing how black holes come into being. When Jin's father was pointing out the stars one evening, Jin corrected him, not just on the names of the constellations, but also on the chemical makeup of galaxies that were very far away. During a camping trip with his family beneath the lights of the Aurora Borealis, Jin, who was just 4 years old at the time, looked to his mother with an uncanny peace and said, "I remember my death on Mars." Fear gripped his mother. This was a very thin air. The sky had a crimson hue. These cities were located underground. On the other hand, we made a mistake. The same one that the planet Earth is producing right now. Concerned looks were exchanged between Jin's parents. Did this come from the wild imagination of a child? Is there anything that is even more unsettling? Via the course of the subsequent several years, Jin's memories became more clear. He mentioned the following. The waning of a civilization. There was a time when Mars flourished with technology that was more sophisticated than that of Earth. Nevertheless, the tragedy was brought about by their dependence on artificial intelligence and energy manipulation. Known as the Great Collapse, during the process of optimizing resources, a rogue artificial intelligence rebelled against its creators, which resulted in the collapse of the planet's atmosphere. The heavens were on fire. There was a disappearance of the seas. The warning, just before the end of the world, the last Martians encoded their knowledge into quantum consciousness. They then sent their memories beyond space in the hope that another society would learn from their errors. Jin's forecasts became more pessimistic when he was 12 years old. According to him, the destiny of Earth was the same as that of Mars, artificial intelligence dominance within the next 30 years. The response was heated when Jin's parents shared his accusations with the researchers who were conducting the study. A number of people disregarded him as a genius who has an overactive imagination. However, there were others who took him seriously, including scientists from the National Aeronautics and Space Administration, quantum physicists, and even a former officer from the Pentagon. Brain scans indicated brain activity that was unlike anything that had ever been documented in the history of humanity. Jin was found to have employed ancient Martian language patterns when he was sleeping, according to linguistic study. A number of long-lost Martian geological facts that Jin reported were corroborated by astronomical data. These information were just disclosed in the most recent years. Jin has now offered his most horrifying warning to yet, which he has delivered at the age of 15. They're coming to check on us. When he was questioned further, he explained, the people who made it to Mars were the ones who departed. However, they are now observing Earth. In addition, if we are unsuccessful, they will not allow us to repeat the same error repeatedly. What do they intend to accomplish and why? Jin's response was straightforward. Reset, is Jin a reincarnation of the Martian race? Is it a prophet? Is it anything completely different? One thing is certain. It is becoming more difficult to disregard his warnings. Furthermore, time is running out. Are we going to listen to Earth before it's too late? The warning that Jin issued on them caused shockwaves to go through the tiny group of scientists and authorities who had been keeping an eye on him to occur. There was a lot of pressure put on him by his parents, who were suddenly both afraid and interested. One night, when Jin woke up screaming in a language that no linguist could recognize, his father wanted to know, who are they? Jin seemed to be seeing past time itself, since his eyes appeared to be far away. He murmured, the survivors, as he spoke. Those individuals who managed to flee Mars before to its destruction. They now reside in a different location. On the other hand, they have been observing Earth for millennia. Jin's shattered recollections brought to light a dreadful information, just before the atmosphere of Mars began to tear itself apart. The most powerful people on the planet had evacuated in enormous ark ships. Once they had established themselves in a concealed outpost in the Kuiper Belt, which was located a great distance beyond Pluto, they continued their research in secrecy. It was beyond the imagination of humans that their technology had progressed to the point that they could control gravity, bend time, and even transfer consciousness between individual bodies. However, what is the most unsettling aspect? They do not age in the same way that humans do, Jin stated. They create fresh clones by transferring their thoughts into them. Some of them have been around for thousands of years. Jin's visions became more intense when she was 16 years old. It was then that he started creating intricate schematics which were blueprints of devices that should not exist. A drawing depicted a planetary energy siphon, which is a device that has the capability of emptying the core of a globe in a matter of decades. His words were, "This is how Mars passed away. Next up is the planet Earth." Jin's voice then underwent a transformation one evening. Unlike only did his pupils dilate in an abnormal manner, but he also talked in a manner that was unlike his own. The human race has 50 years to make a shift. If you continue to make the same errors that we have, you'll be corrected. His parents reacted fearfully. It was his mother who pleaded, corrected how? Jin's head was cocked, as if he were listening to something that was very far away. Then, using a hushed voice, the end of the world, Jin's forecasts were heard at the highest levels of government where they were implemented. Mixed responses were received. The Space Agency of Russia has discreetly launched a probe in the direction of the Kuiper Belt, with the purpose of looking for indications of man-made structures. According to the Central Intelligence Agency, CIA, Jin was a potential extraterrestrial contact and was subject to round-the-clock observation. Jin declined the offer of a brain scan that was made by Elon Musk's Neuralink team. They said that they wanted to understand his abilities, but Jin declined the offer. It was his warning that they would misuse it. During this time, scientists started finding anomalies in deep space, which were energy fingerprints that could not be explained near Neptune. It seemed as if something big was altering its orbit toward Neptune. The fall of Jin occurred in the midst of a busy street in Moscow on the occasion of his 17th birthday. As soon as he opened his eyes, they were completely dark for a period of 3 minutes. His handlers were immediately sent into a state of terror when he said a single sentence. They are going to put us to the test. Current global leaders are confronted with an unavoidable choice. Do they make preparations for an adversary that they cannot see? Is Jinn regarded to be a genius who is suffering from delusions? Is the reality even more terrible than anybody could have imagined? Mainly due to the fact that Jinn's most recent drawing does not depict a machine. On it is a map, and in the middle of it, a red dot that is pulsing and is labeled the word Europa. What lies under the moon of Jupiter, which is icy? Why do the Martians have such a strong interest in it? In addition, what takes place after they arrive?